2 weeks ago.
Perfect. Hi. Hi, everyone. This is Mason Rashtian. We are live again with another podcast of the SCV Law and Life podcast. Today we have Pete Stamison, real estate agent from Remax Gateway out in the Santa Clarita area, particularly from Stevenson Ranch. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning, Mason. Thanks for
How
having
are
me
you?
on.
Of course. Of course, I'm itching to talk about the Dodger game yesterday. But before we get to that,
can we just talk about that the whole time? I could talk for like 2 hours.
I know that's what I'm worried about. I know. We'll talk about it in a bit because we got to talk about it.
Okay, good. We have to. We can't gloss it. We'll have to talk about that at some point.
I totally agree. But let's get to talk to you about you first, and let's start off with give me a little synopsis of where you come from, what you do, how long you've been doing this. I know you've been doing this since 2004, right?
Yes. Yeah. I got my real estate license a couple years after I graduated college. Got licensed in 2004, and I quickly learned that it was not easy. And if I was gonna have success, I would have to have a budget to advertise and market for myself, or I would have to work my way into the industry, slowly, gradually, building a clientele base, one client at a time. Because I also got married in 2004, I was broke. And my only option was to work really, really hard and do the right thing for clients and hopefully deliver a great real estate experience for a buyer and a seller. And they would refer me to somebody that they knew, a family member, a friend, a colleague. And that's kind of how I started. And it slowly grew, and then it accelerated and just got better and better and better over the years.
Okay. So you only do residential, right? No commercial.
Exactly. I do. I've done commercial in the past, like a handful of transactions over the years, but I'm really a residential expert, 1 to 4 units. I sell vacant land as well. And when it comes to commercial, I usually, if a client comes to me with a need for it, I want to make sure that they're in good hands. So I'll refer them to a couple of partners I have at Remax who work in the commercial division. And I know that they will take exceptional care of my client. But I don't sell commercial anymore.
Right. Okay. And what are the geographic areas that you work at?
Most of my business is Santa Clarita Valley, San Fernando Valley. I work a bit in Ventura as well, and I'll go as far out, kind of like the San Gabriel Valley. I used to live there. My wife and I, our first property was there. So San Gabriel Valley, Pasadena area. I usually want to work in markets that I'm most familiar with, that I've sold or lived in, and I have experience where I can add value to somebody's real estate transaction. Just because I'm licensed to sell real estate in the state of California, geographically, I have to say, well, I can't really deliver you exceptional results to a client if I'm going to sell something in Central California and Fresno, right? So I try to really stay in the markets that I know. And that's usually within about a 50 to 60 mile radius of where I live.
I know before you told me about La Cañada areas too, right? Over there.
Yeah. I grew up in La Cañada, Flint Ridge. I graduated from La Cañada High School in the mid 90s. And at the time, La Cañada was just like a little hidden gem that not many people talked about. Not many people knew it even existed. They would just drive along the 210 freeway. And, one thing about La Cañada is that the government and the politics, what they've done is they were very strategic. They didn't want to bring any attention and awareness that it even exists, So they didn't allow any commercial signs for any of the businesses that are right there on Foothill Boulevard off the freeway. Nobody can have a sign more than X amount of feet above the ground because they don't want people seeing them from the freeway and stopping to get off there. It's exceptional, and it's worked all these years.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Let me tell you, I hate billboards.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So because we go to La Cañada a lot because of Descanso.
Yeah,
so that's
beautiful there. Yeah, it really is
beautiful.
And now
So
it's a
yeah.
home to lots of celebrities now. Shohei Ohtani bought a house. He bought Adam Carolla's old house.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. So where did Adam go? Do you know?
I don't know where Adam went. I think he's maybe waiting to buy something until his divorce is final. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
yeah.
So I know you don't do the traditional. You do more than what traditional real estate agents do. You come in there and help prepare the property. Why don't you tell us about some of the stuff that you help out with that other people don't do?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks for asking me. Um, I have quite a bit of education and designations that I prided myself on, especially when it comes to getting helping a seller get ready for the market. Various things that we'll do is depending on how long they've owned the house. I'll recommend that we get a pre-sale home inspection so we can identify any of the areas that are in concern, so we can address them and maybe get them fixed before we put it on the market. This way, it'll put more money in their pocket when they sell the property. I have my staging accreditation. I'm an ASP, accredited staging professional. I'm certified in trust and probate. I'm a SRES, senior real estate specialist. I have quite a bit of business in the probate and the trust world, where I work with estate planning attorneys and I help their clients in the probate as well as the trust sales. So I want to help add value to a real estate transaction, whether it's a buyer or a seller. And I'm able to do that with sellers very consistently. I just sold a house in Valencia, Mason, and we closed about 2 weeks ago. And this was a client that I met in November 2024. And we strategically planned. It was an original owner, 35-year-old home, and we strategically planned how we were going to get them from point A to point B to the finish line. And there was a lot of deferred maintenance on the house. And we went in there and we got it market ready. And when homes are sitting on the market around 92, 93 days around them, we achieved multiple offers and sold it for, a hair over the asking price. So, it's just ways that we can get results if the seller has the time and the energy and wants to get the most money possible. We're able to do that very consistently.
I know in your bio you said something about the Jerry Maguire way of doing things.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what that means?
Yeah. Jerry Maguire, I was a great movie. Love Tom Cruise. And there was a point where he had like the aha moment where, he wrote, where he turned around and he wrote a transcript and he delivered it to everybody in his company, almost like it's not about, getting every single account and getting, every single sports athlete out there. It's about fewer clients, better quality for the transaction, better quality, better service. And it was like this memo that he put out. And it's kind of like how I built my business. Not specifically at the time, I wasn't saying this is Jerry Maguire, I'm going to do my business this way. But we had a lot of the same parallels. Like I wanted fewer clients and I wanted to build and grow organically. And that's what I've been able to do, kind of like that Jerry Maguire philosophy.
Because I know you don't advertise a whole lot. Everything's by referrals usually for you, right?
I really don't advertise a ton. I advertise and market my properties more than I advertise and market myself,
Okay.
So I'm a marketing expert for real estate and for my clients, but I don't do a lot of the things that the traditional real estate agent has to do to get business. I spend time working more in my business than on it.
Got it. And I know in the past you told me about clients coming to you who got a call from these, I'm going to call them yahoos from TV commercials saying, I want to buy your home for X amount of dollars.
Right.
Yeah. Tell me about those.
Yeah. Oh man, I get those. I still get them. I mean, I get like a few of those a month. I get calls from, it could be like a call center that's calling on behalf of some of the big name buyers that you see advertised on TV, or it could just be little, mom and pop people calling and saying, we want to buy your house. We'll close 14 days. We'll do this. And, I know a lot of my clients tell me like, hey, my property is so desirable. Like everybody wants to buy it. I get a couple of calls a month, Peter. Are you like, everybody wants this property. It's better than anything. And I'm like, I hate to burst your bubble, but they call everybody. They get lists.
I get them.
Yeah, you get them, Mason, right? How often do you get them?
Once in a while, I do get them.
And what do you just hang up, or do you?
No, it's usually by text.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Now I know we talked a couple of times, and you had clients come to you because they were offered some money without even looking at the property.
Yes. Yeah. Just recently, earlier this year, I had a case where some clients had been referred to me by an estate planning attorney. They were, getting ready to do their trust distribution on their mother's property in Canyon Country. And they were about to sell. Can I say the name of the company on here, or should I not?
Let's just not worry about it right now.
So they were gonna sell their home to a very large, prominent home buyer that you've seen billboards and heard ads and seen on TV. And their attorney said to them, "Oh wow, that just seems like a lower net offer than maybe what you should do. There's no loan on the property. I really suggest you talk with Pete. Here's his info. Give him a call. He'll give you an honest assessment very quickly and tell you." So I spoke to them. Really nice, brother and sister, both retired, and they told me what the net offer was, and I was just like, you didn't sign this and agree to this yet, right? They're like, no, but we're just about to, like, in the next 24 hours because it expires. And I said, okay, let it expire. And they're like, are you sure? And I said, they're like, well, yeah, but we really need the money. And I said, I understand. Why do you need the money so urgently? Well, they just, for a lot of reasons. I said, okay. I said, well, can you wait like 35, 40 days to get, and if I can get you like probably at least $50,000 net more, would you be willing to wait for 40 days as opposed to 10 days getting your money in? Yeah. And they looked, are you sure about this? I said, I'm very confident that I'll be able to deliver, that I will sell your home for no less than this amount, and you'll walk with no less than this proceeds. And I emailed it to them and I put it in writing. And sure enough, we did it. We got the house professionally cleaned, professionally marketed, advertised, and we sold the house for a net $99,500 more than they were going to sell it to this other company for. Yeah. And, from start to finish, 8 days on the market, I think we had a half a dozen offers, and we sold it for $75,000 over the asking price. So they were ecstatic. This brother and sister netted almost $50,000 more. Yeah. And just by making the call to me and trusting me to do the right thing for them. And it was just such a cool experience. And 21 years, it never gets old to get those kind of results. It's what motivates me to keep going. And who else can I help?
Every time somebody comes to you and gives you, hey, the offer is going to expire within X amount of times, it's a sales pressure you should never buy into.
Absolutely.
In my business, I get attorneys who try to push people into signing up as soon as possible. Yeah. No, if somebody pushes you and gives you an expiration date, that's that should be
a red flag, right?
It's a red flag. Absolutely.
Red flag. Absolutely.
Yeah. And the other thing is, you should always go with a professional. Get a second opinion. Talk to somebody who's been doing this, someone who's in the market. I guarantee those people who gave them the offer weren't even in the Santa Clarita area. They're just throwing out some money out there. That's all it was. Yeah.
Absolutely. They were trying to lowball it so they could turn around and just flip the property and make as much money as possible. And they were just like, yeah. And it's like, you don't have to do this. You're not, the property isn't in default. This isn't like, you're not under any duress other than you want the money, but you've waited for, your mom and dad own this house for 38 years. You can wait If you waited 38 years, you can wait 41 days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go with the professional, listen to them. Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, look, we've known each other for a while now, and I know you bring the value that other people don't. I mean, you're not one of those people who just buys a place or puts it up for sale and then flips it. You really want to get to know the clients. You really want to get involved. You really help them out. You bring value to them personally and to the property. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I try to.
All right. So how can people get a hold of you?
Easiest way to get a hold of me. They call me on my office line, but the best way is just call me or text me, email me. My cell phone, 818-439-3052. Or they could email me at Peter Stamison at Gmail. That's it.
Okay.
And I love referrals. I mean, almost all my business comes from referrals. Not all of it, but well over 90%. So I love helping people and just seeing how I can add value, and then hopefully get a referral from that person to another person, and just keep growing.
Okay.
I love what I do, and industry has been really, really good to me.
Okay, well, good. All right. So now let's talk about the Dodger game. So,
oh man,
okay, I get so stressed over watching the games that a lot of times I can't do it. So I was keeping up the score on my phone, but I wasn't watching it. All I know is all of a sudden I go, "What, end it?" And then I turn on the TV, and I feel bad for the pitcher. I do.
The first thought that I had, like when I woke up, sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I have various thoughts that that I can't get out of my mind. And strangely enough, I woke up in the middle of the night and I'm like, that was such an ugly win. But you know what? When you're building and these legacies like the Dodgers are, like you have to win ugly sometimes, right? Yeah. And you got Shohei Ohtani, Mr. Babe Ruth, Mr. All World, who's just struggled mightily this series, right?
Yeah.
And we found a way to win in a different way against probably arguably the best team or one of the best teams in the NL and in all of baseball with just a loaded lineup. And we won so ugly, and we got all the guys that we needed to just step up and come through. Like Glass now, who's from Santa Clarita, right?
Yeah.
Was huge. And then I think we got, did Dreyer come? No, Dreyer was the night before. And we had Sasaki come in. What? And was he 9 up and 9 down?
Yeah.
I mean, just locked down. And then in extra innings, I mean, we were so fortunate, and I was so stressed. And I, like you, Mason, I felt so bad for that pitcher. Like I woke up in the middle, and I was like, I can't believe we actually won that game that way. Yeah. And that poor kid. Did you see Ryuto, the catcher on the Phillies, in the replay? After he bobbled it, he's pointing with his right hand to throw it to first.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. He had a call. Yeah.
He panicked.
Because it's the playoffs. If it was a regular season, he probably wouldn't have panicked as much. That's what, you get the players in the big moment coming in, and some of them just, yeah. Have I shown you my Sandy Koufax bobblehead though?
Oh, that is great.
I got this with me and Ed went to a game once years ago. We both got one of these.
Oh, that was the game that you guys went to? You got Sandy Koufax bobblehead?
Yeah.
That's probably got to be one of the best bobbleheads to have.
I think so.
That and Vin Scully, I would think,
There you go.
That's so cool. So what do you think about, who would you rather play? I'd rather play
Chicago.
The Cubs.
Chicago, absolutely the Cubs, because you get home field. Yeah, we get home field. Plus, we have a hard time hitting the pitching from Milwaukee.
Yeah, we were 0-6 this year against them.
Yeah.
They dominated us.
Yeah, but regular season doesn't mean anything. It happens every year. Dodgers played the Phillies one year and dominated them, lost in the playoffs. Same thing happened the other way around. So, it doesn't mean anything. All right, so before we get to the end, let me ask you a question, which is the question I ask all my guests on my podcast. Based on what you know today, if you could go back and tell your younger self, give your younger self an advice, what would it be?
Oh, man, I would say, Pete, instead of turning 18 and just wanting to go out and spend the summer partying with your friends, go out and take your real estate license on your 18th birthday and go out and figure out a way to save enough money for a modest down payment to get an FHA loan to buy a 4-unit apartment building. That's what I would tell myself. Like 18 years old at that time, Mason, you could buy FHA with 1.5% down payment, and you could buy up to 4 units as long as you lived in 1 unit, right? So now you can still do that, but now it's FHA 3.5% down, as long as you live and occupy one of the units as your primary residence. So, at the time, I could have bought a 4-plex in Burbank, Mason, for $375,000, right? And figured out a way, even like on a waiter's salary at the time, even working, at a coffee shop, where I could have saved up $6,000, right, in order to do that and get into a property and then have the rent from the other 3 units combined, supplement my mortgage payment and my property taxes. And then I live in there for 5, 6, 7 years, and I move out of that property and I put a new tenant in there, and I've saved enough money where I can buy a single family home that I really want, or buy another one, right? That's what I would tell myself. I can only imagine.
Yeah, but that's hindsight is always 2020. Yeah. Just like you could have told yourself, buy Google stock.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
All right, so one more time, tell us how people can get a hold of you.
They get a hold of me, text or call 818-439-3052. Meet Pete. I'm here, excited, ready to talk about real estate with people that have questions or concerns. Or they could email me at peterstamison@gmail.com.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, and let's go Dodgers in the next round, baby.
Thanks, Mason. That was fun. I appreciate you having me on, buddy.
All right, take care.
All right, let's go Dodgers.
Bye.
See you, buddy.